I can do anything. I can reach any goal today. I can do what I want. I can be what I want to be.
Hi guys, Katie Azevedo from SchoolHabits.com. So if we find certain material easy to understand, we don't study it as intensely as we would study material that's harder to understand, right? Now, I'm not going to define hard material because what is hard for one person isn't always hard for another. But in this video, I give you 3 wicked easy study tips for learning the hard stuff. So these tips can help you understand and remember the hard stuff, whatever that is for you. So study tip number 1, use various input sources. If all we do is read the same textbook chapter over and over again, blanking out every time we read a page, we're not going to learn anything. Simply rereading and rereading text is a terrible way to study because it only presents the information from one angle. And if the information is particularly difficult for us and this angle isn't our style, then we're going to struggle. We're going to get annoyed and then we're going to be all like, what the heck, I'm not even doing this, right? So in addition to reading your text, seek out different ways to learn the material. So for example, find YouTube videos about the topic, right? You're on YouTube anyway. Find other websites that explain the material. Find another book about it. Listen to a podcast about it. There's so many options here. And then the benefit to using a variety of input sources is huge. It'll help you understand the material. It'll help you process the material. And obviously it's going to help you remember the material. And we can only pass a test if we remember what the heck we just studied. That's the whole point. So tip number 1 is easy. Go find the information from a different source than you already have. Study tip number 2, talk it out. Oh my God, this study tip is so key. So there's 3 parts. Do this, guys, really, okay? 3 parts. Number 1, find someone else from your class or even your teacher and ask them to explain the material to you. So obviously this person has to know the information themselves, right? So listen closely, ask questions as they explain it, and then stop them if you zone out and just don't get it for whatever reason, okay? Number 2, explain the material as well as you can back to the person as if they have never heard it before. And then encourage this person to ask questions back to you too, okay? And third thing, number 3, find a different person, a family member, a friend, your mom, whatever, who's not familiar with the material, and attempt to explain the material to them as thoroughly as possible in a way that's easy for them to understand. And again, definitely encourage them to ask questions when they're unclear. Don't stop explaining the material until the other person really gets it. And I've said a bazillion times in my other blogs and videos, the best way to learn something is to teach it. Remember that, the best way to learn something ever is to teach it. So here's the thing, if you find that you can't explain it clearly, guess what? Yeah, that means you don't know it. And we all do this, right? We all fool ourselves into thinking we know something, right? I'm not alone in this. But then when we're tested, we're all like, crap, nah, I don't know that. So trying to explain this stuff to someone else will let us know. Like, it's a reality check here, really, if we really know what we're talking about. And then study tip number 3, test yourself constantly. I actually recommend testing yourself on new and difficult material as you're learning it, and not only when you're just sitting down to study it. That's the real secret. If you want to know, start studying early, my friends, like way early, okay? Anyway, let me explain what I mean by test yourself constantly. So, when we're studying, we want to do more than just read or reread your notes, as I keep saying. Of course, we want to study using various input sources, which is study tip number 1, and talk through the material with someone else, which is study tip number 2. But then testing ourselves, this study tip here, number 3, is something we should do while we're doing the other stuff. You follow? So after reading a page of notes, we could turn to a fresh sheet of paper and see if we can write about what we just read without looking back at our notes. That's the key, don't look back at your notes, it's cheating. And then after studying certain processes for like biology or studying Spanish vocab words or something, we turn to a fresh sheet of paper and see if we can map out the biology process or define the Spanish vocabulario, right, without looking back at our notes. Again, don't look back at your notes because that's totally cheating. If we can't write out these concepts, we can't write out these words or whatever we're studying, without checking back at our notes, we don't know the material well enough. That's another reality check. And so then we know to go back and to study it more. As you guys already know, there is, like, I feel silly saying this because you know this, but there's no miracle shortcut for magically memorizing a ton of information. Instead, it's a matter of using like legit study techniques. That's the thing, that's what I'm teaching, right? And then proper planning too. And also, depending on our personal strengths and our weaknesses, we might have to study more or less than our friends. That's totally okay, that's cool. What's also okay is that we study differently than our friends, depending on our learning style. But I tell you, no matter what your learning style, the subject you're studying, or what level you're at, right? The 3 strategies that I just went over, they do work. So that's it. Try them out and let me know your comments or questions below. I read them all, okay? And as always, please like this video if you liked it and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Doing so really helps support my channel. Thanks for watching.